right here in my own backyard, USC, one of the teams I love to hate. My man Dave happens to be tied up to USC, which is all good though. Let's run it through. Lincoln Riley, second year right here. He was 11-3 last year, 8-1 in the conference. He's 7-0 at home, 4-1 away. This year he brings back 8 on offense, 9 on defense, 14 transfers, and on top of that, he has one of the top quarterbacks this year in Caleb Williams. So last year, points per game, they were about number 5. Rushing, they were 51, and passing, they were number 3 on the offensive side. He also brings back Austin Jones, Mario Willen. They are loaded over here at USC. And then on the defensive side of things, where last year they were 61 in points per game, 72 rushing, and 104 pass, which is horrible. And we all know that's a part of Lincoln's Riley's MO. But Dave, what do you have to say about your USC team this year?
So I have to say that, and we talked about this too, and I'll put Homer-ness aside. I think that this is last year was the first time that I could bet on USC. I can't tell you how many times in my capping career, which started, betting career, I've bet since I was underage, but truly capping stuff has been about 8 years. There hasn't been a better time to bet them. Last year, we made money betting on USC to cover spreads, which they never did, which was crazy. And the story with USC is going to be the same thing. Their offense is hot. They got a bunch of great guys. They got Marshawn Lloyd from South Carolina, Dorian Singer from Arizona. Those are both offensive players, running back, wide receiver. And they got Mason Cobb as a linebacker. But that's what they need. So the big question is going to be one of two things. Did the defense get better, or is the offense powerful enough to just have a bang-out, smash-out, rocket-fueled brawl? Because they're a team that will score 70 points, but if they go up against another team that can do the same thing, and there are some of those teams in this conference that can do that, that's going to be USC's recipe for success. I just think that the coach-quarterback tandem and also the culture that Lincoln Riley brought in immediately and changed, because these are still kids. He's molded their minds. They're sipping the Kool-Aid. I think this is definitely not a playoff front runner, but definitely you can't bet them out of not contending to go to the playoffs.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I also have my bit to say, and it is from a little hater aspect of it because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but it also is to the reality. So to the reality of Lincoln Riley, his issue at Oklahoma was defense. His issue at USC continues to be defense. Coming to the West Coast was to pick up some of these top defensive players. Now, still grabbing so many players out of the transfer means maybe he didn't get enough of the local talent and he went elsewhere. So I don't know what the state of the defense is going to be, and that's going to be the key because the offense is going to be keyed up a little bit more. Some of those miraculous stuff that Caleb did last year, it won't be so easy this year. So unless he advances on the offensive side of, the guy's already been under this guy for 2 years. It's going to be his third year under Lincoln Riley. He knows the system at this point, so I don't know if they're still installing new stuff or just trying to perfect what they got. But it was the first year last year. The element of surprise is gone. These guys got tape this time. So, in California schools, you kind of can't count out the dark horse sometimes just because the athletes all played together in these different states and all that kind of stuff. And you don't know who won the championship in high school over the other one. And, some teams actually step up when you thought they were down because of the people they playing against, they know. So, I'm not against USC. I say for the better part of it, hey, go ahead and win the Pac-12 at least before you leave. That's got to be a goal. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the season wins, over or under 10 for USC looks definitely doable. What do you think, Dave, on the over under 10 for the season? I know you don't like betting futures, but just for practicality of how well of a season you think they're going to have, what do you think? Over under 10?
This is a bad bet just because I think that it's more likely that they hit 10 wins and they push. But I'm going to say this. There are 4 games that worry me. Obviously, at Notre Dame, Utah at home, Washington at home, and at Oregon. I'm gonna say, and I know you won't like this, that they beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'm gonna hope that they have that. You have to think that last year, after losing in the Pac-12 championship and then losing by, I think it was 3 points, and it was by a roughing the passer call in the first quarter. I hope they beat Utah at home. The questions are going to be Washington, who I think, and Oregon, who have ridiculous offenses. I think they either lose. I think they either lose at Oregon or at home to Washington. And let's say they fall to one of those games with Utah or Notre Dame. They're either 10-2 or 11-1 in my mind, and that's a very optimistic look. But this is a bet I wouldn't. I think they land right on 10.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the tail end of the schedule is tough, and that could be the fate of your over under 10. And that's going to be Washington, Oregon, and UCLA. UCLA, the rival. Yep. Oregon, second year with a quality coach, and Washington with that awesome coach over there with the high-powered offense. So, and defense is where they lack. So those are high-powered offensive teams. I'm not sure about UCLA though. Without Thompson, I don't know how they bounce back from that. But we'll get into that. Let's keep this boat moving.